Thank you. So I'm Vlad from Front Robots, and I would like to give you a couple of tips which we used in our business when we escaped or when we left Activision and started our own indie studio. Because I have feeling that a lot of indie developers kind of try to not look at the big publishers, maybe don't like them, but still I think they have a lot of experience and we can use and learn a lot of from them. So I'll take you on the short journey. On the beginning, what I did for Activision. I was lead game designer in exclusive developer studio called Cauldron. I worked there on 5 games, and each of this game was at least on 5 SKUs. As you can see, big consoles, PC, and stuff. The average units sold per game was around 1 million. It was usually for American market, so it's not like I wasn't part of Call of Duty team or something. I was working on hunting games. I would say that in 13 years I'm working in game industry. I'm disillusioned developer, which doesn't mean I don't have dreams. So I still have dreams, just trying to stay on the floor. So in 2013, I co-founded own studio called Fun Robots, and what we are trying to do is to do it right from the start. So we looked back to Big Biz and try to inspire from good things and learn by mistakes. We actually started with a list of things which is good to keep in mind, and in a year we kind of figure out which of these things works and which don't. So first part of presentation will be about pre-production, second about some tips and tricks, and third is just a couple of things to your company and to the official things in the company. So we have started with an idea and write like brother in arm, or I have started. I think here the only advice would be keep in mind your pros and find someone who compensate your cons. So on the left side is me, and on the right side is another co-founder, Lukáš. Then we spent a lot of time to finding the right idea. And if you look at the word idea, it's pretty close to indie. So in a big project, you can kind of hide a lack of good or innovative idea behind a lot of production stuff and content and so. But in small projects, the idea is what sells you. Sure, you can still make a copy of Clash of Clans, but still you should have some idea how to do that differently, let's say. So how to get an idea and how to recognize the good idea, that was the question. How to get an idea? We always try to ask ourselves, where is the problem, what is missing, and how our game solved the problem. What we saw as a problem in the company was a lack of skill-based games, lack of mid-core games on the mobile market, and that's much less crowded. So we decided to try to use our experience and bring console-like experience to the mobiles. But if you have this problem in your mind, what I do usually is that I store these problems I wanna solve in my brain cache, let's say, and then I try to project these things into things I normally do. So sometimes then you kind of figure out how your game could work just when you are skiing or watching movie or so. So don't try to spend all the day in the office thinking about brilliant ideas. And then how you recognize a good idea. I think it's these three things. It should be innovative enough, but it should be familiar for players, for your audience. And that's the third thing, which is it should be right targeted, which I would tell that Activision did pretty well. So that's something what many indie studios maybe don't look at, but targeting your game it's pretty important. And so you have to know your target audience, and always trying to think, okay, we are not doing games for ourselves when you are not your target audience, and only with knowledge of your audience you can do right decisions in development. So that's why we decided to look at mid-core audience, to look at audience who as I said has some console skills and stuff. But if I can tell from my previous experience when I was working on hunting games, I wasn't a big fan of hunting game before. Even I maybe even didn't know that there are some. But you have to find something even in that games, and the game still has to be fun for you. Because if you don't see fun in your game, then probably nobody does. So target audience is one thing. Second thing of right targeting your idea is keep in mind your constraints of the team, of the technology, of the business model, and obviously of money and time. That's a good thing when you are making new company, that you don't need to make game tailored on your team, but you can make a team tailored on your game. You can choose right technology. And from the very beginning, you should know which business model are you planning, because retail means you are doing product, free-to-play means you're doing service, and when you submit a game, it's just the beginning. Then what we did pretty well, I would say, with Activision, and what we try to do as well in our team, then was top-down plan, time, and money. Again, we try to don't spend a lot of time on that, but you should always have an idea about your game, about your project, how long it takes, and how much it costs. So what we did was basically use just an Excel, make some basic roadmaps. Maybe you cannot read it, and it's actually not actual, or it's not up to date, but just make some month sprints, made a roadmap, try to reflect go-to-market strategy there, and then from this roadmap we did an allocation table. This is what we did previously in Activision, and it worked pretty well. So for top-down planning, you know people, or at least positions, and you know more or less how many time it takes. So these numbers means like when there is one, it means it takes for, I don't know, sketch artist whole months, man months in that sprint. And if you have these numbers, then you can, and you know how big salary there are, you can pretty easily make your cost estimations. So this was our initial cost estimations, around 200,000 euro. So that's for planning. One more thing I think there is missing often in indie studios is prepare some documentation, one pager or game concept document, something where you write basic vision of the game, your target audience, your unique selling points, key features, commercials, which means platforms, time, how long it takes, some estimation for content of the game. And it's basically a short document. It really could be just one page, which is useful for investor, for your team, for you, because what you should do is validate, because in every development process there will be changes for sure. But you should know that you are making changes, and you should know why. So it's good to know the initial vision. And the last thing which we have learned in indie or on mobiles is information map or UX flow mockup. Because it's actually it was kind of interesting for me that that on big retail games you don't spend so much time on UX as on mobiles, and I think the reason, or that's what I experienced, and I think the reason is that if somebody buy your retail game for €40, it can be more complicated. He will spend, or she will spend time with just looking around and trying to figure out how it works. But if somebody downloads your free-to-play game for free and he doesn't get it in like a minute, then he try another game. So that's why your front end or the initial screens, the initial part of the game UX need so many polishment and work. And actually this information map, that's what we have prepared for Microsoft with our nowadays project, and it's just a part. But this information map can tell you then a lot about your game, your flow, maybe features you forget on, or maybe you see that it's so complicated and you have still time to change it. Now, a couple of tips from development. When I started with my company, I had still in mind that workflow from big company. So I tried to make a lot of things in parallel. We try to prepare content. We try to prepare more features. I started with bigger team, or bigger, like 12 people. And then I realized that on indie project, it's really much better if you work with whole company just on your core gameplay loop, and don't make any parallelization or so. Just spend maximum of time on your core gameplay loop, and when it works, then you can somehow add more and more content to that. So that was our mistake actually, and I'm happy that we realized that it's not a good way soon. Second thing is content. When I have planned whole content for the game from the very beginning, we have started with many sketches and preparation works for content. And then again, we realized that it's pointless to prepare a bunch of content. It's better to prepare just enough content to prove that your core gameplay loop works, and then have a roadmap for new content and add new content later. Third thing was planning. With Activision, we had all that projects for 1 year, and we had to finish the project before Black Friday because it's the biggest thing in America, and you sell most of your games on Black Friday. So we had to plan everything pretty well and pretty deeply. So the normal thing there was that team leads spent more time with management than with development. We used Scrum methods. We had tasks for every task longer than 30 minutes. So you can imagine how many tasks it was. And I have started with the same thing in our team. So I have like sprints, month sprints. From these sprints, I made smaller like weekly sprints, and then we had stand-up meeting every day. A lot of tasks, and I kind of figure out that I'm spending again more time with management, but on 10 or 12 people than on making game. So previously, as I said, we started with heavy planning. Now we use just sprints, clear goals, so everybody has to know what they should do and when's the deadline. Because still, I believe that deadlines really help development. And we have much lighter planning now and more effective. We use just Evernote and no big development, no big planning tools. So that's my another advice: focus on production, not on planning. And the another thing is, or where goals with big projects, or with the projects with Activision, we knew for which consoles we are making games, how long it should take. Basically, when you sign off your contract, there were just minor changes. I mean, like minor changes in the meaning like you didn't change the console for mobile or so. But what's the great on indie projects or on smaller projects is that you can stay effective and flexible, and that's your advantage. So on our example, you can see our go-to-market strategy. When we started with idea to start on iOS, Android, and then later on maybe with some premium version for Ouya and Steam. Then we realized that that's not a good strategy because we don't have enough money to make such a good marketing on iOS that we will be visible. So we plan to start with Facebook, where the marketing is still cheaper, and go from Facebook to iOS, Android, and then for Steam and consoles. And then I realized that there is App Campus thing from Microsoft, and that Microsoft starts really push on Windows Phone and trying to find new content. So I contacted Microsoft, and we decided that we will try Windows Phone at first. They will support us. They will make us like global push and or promotion, and then we will go on next like iOS and Android versions. So as you see, it changed. We always knew that there will be like mobiles, like iOS, Android, and then maybe after some bigger periods, premium version. But these changes are not a bad thing, and it's actually I'm happy from this decision. We will submit in a month, so I can tell you more. But now I think it was good decision, and it was good to be flexible. Another thing was salary. On big projects, you give bigger salary and no shares from company or projects usually, and we have started with similar idea when we found an investor. we started with bigger salaries, bigger money for our people, but then we realized that it will be really hard to raise another money. So we have started with another strategy, and the strategy is that everybody has his salary. It's, let's say, 1,500 euro, and he can tell how much from this he want to take, and how much from this he want to leave in the company. And what he leaves in the company, it doubles from the profit from the game. So if the game will not be profitable, then he lost his money. But if it will be, then he will have much bigger money. And we realized that something like this, it's more effective. You have more excited people, and basically it's much better to start with this than with full salary strategy. Another thing is that you can use your fans and community, which is really cool. It doesn't mean that you have to listen everything or change it from every comments, but you should listen, you should communicate with them, and you can even use them to make to be a beta testers or so. And next thing was transparency. You know, with big publisher, you do everything right and you didn't make any mistake. Or you tell that. But you know, I think everybody is bored from this, and we are such a young industry that it's much more important to talk about mistakes you did. Tell your story. Let everybody to, let's say, not make the same mistakes but the new ones, and they will tell you back then, hopefully. So the last part. It's good to keep in mind that you are not making just a game, but you are starting your company. So you should have company vision, similar as you have game vision. These are visions or some kind of important things for our company. To be flexible, to be effective, to be transparent. Our goal is to bring console-like experience to mobiles, and our claim is challenge accepted. I think, you know, if you write this down on the very beginning, and you are okay with this, your co-founder is okay with this, your investor, then it's very good that in the future, if there is any argue about this, you can show him document which is written on the beginning, and kind of show him what was the initial vision. One or a couple of things in the end. The official company form, we have decided in the end for UK limited company. And the reason was to be like independent on like local states, because we are international team. We have Czech guys, Slovak guys. We plan to use a couple of our friends from states, and so we use or we are now a limited company. Soon I realized that it has benefits, obviously. For example, you can go on Kickstarter, but it has also downsides, because it's pretty expensive to find, for example, in Slovakia or Czech, some good lawyer who is cheaper than 350 euro per hour. So things like this is good to keep in mind, and if you are not planning to go to Kickstarter or something soon, then it's maybe better to go with local company. Another thing is with investors, then you should don't lose your company soon. And the way how to do that is, it's not trying to find investor in very beginning, I would say, but try to use another ways how to raise money, crowdfunding campaigns, funds, awards, a lot of things is around. And if you then can show investor your version, which is already on market, which has retention numbers, then you can raise much bigger money for lower percents. Okay, the thing is, do you do that right? We don't, but we try to. And I believe that if you know that you're not making it right and you are trying to, it's the best way how to achieve success. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a great talk. Do you guys have questions? Don't be shy. So I have one. I mean, you've talked about. I mean, I have 20 people in the studio that can relate to many of the things you've talked about. One of the hardest things, though, that's not mentioned in your talk is how to mitigate the distribution question. You know, going publisher, going. It seems like you found with Microsoft some. But do you have overall advice on how to approach, you know, distribution beyond organization and development?
Yeah, self-publishing is actually pretty tricky. So I think still there are really good publishers which can help you with this, and usually development studios are not good at marketing or PR or stuff. But on the other hand, I have to tell that I met now, not now, but like in the last year, I met a couple of mobile publishers who told me like, okay, well, put your game on mobile market, and if it's good, then we'll give you money. But you know, if it's good, then you don't need money. You need somebody who is really deep in your development, some producer who is just there for your game, and who can help you, who can give you comments, and then who don't have his bonuses if the game doesn't make well. So my advice would be like, if you're really not pros in publishing, in self-publishing, try to find some publisher, but be careful with many of, let's say, not so valuable publishers on the market.
Thank you very much. Any question? Yes.
You mentioned that you have people. Is it working?
It's
From
working.
all over the world. Did you have the virtual office or real office?
We have one real office in Slovakia, in Bratislava, where CTO, or our lead programmer, my co-founder, and me is sitting, and where we are doing every month like a meeting with whole the team who can come. So guys from Czech Republic who are just like a couple of 100 kilometers from us comes every month, and we try to work together, to party together, you know, to keep that team spirit. But still a big part of our communication is through Skype and Skype calls and video calls and sharing screens. So that's how we do that.
Last question. So please help me thank him for this great presentation, full of insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.